Hi everyone, welcome to week 12 of our Composition 1 class. This week you're going to bring everything together that you've been working on for writing Project 3. You're researching, you're pre-writing, all the critical thinking that you've been doing, and you're going to piece together your draft. By the end of the week, you will post your draft to the discussion board so that your peers can look it over next week and give you some feedback. In task 12.1, you are going to write the draft of your paper. Use the resources available to you. Go back to last week's pre-writing to get started. Reread the assignment description to remind yourself what your goal is. That's very important. Actually, both of these things are pretty important. Reread the assignment sheet and look at the student success gallery. So I would not just go in and write this paper blind. Make sure that you are meeting the requirements. Make sure that you have looked at what other people have done in the past. You can also consult the field guide. There's a menu at the front of the book that will show you what all the different chapters are. And if you are struggling with a particular aspect of the writing process, you can take a look at your book, and there will likely be information there that you will find helpful. For task 12.2, you're going to work on the design of your document. One design consideration is MLA. Just like writing Project 2, writing Project 3 asks you to lay your paper out according to MLA format. You can see pages 588 to 596 in your book for an example of how your paper should look. Your paper should be double spaced in 12-point Times New Roman or Arial font. Your name, my name, the class, and the date should be in the top left-hand corner of the first page and only the first page. You should also include page numbers in the upper right-hand corner of each page. Another design consideration is the use of headings and subheadings. If you want, you could incorporate headings in your paper to help guide your readers through your piece. You can see pages 650 to 652 for some help on using headings in your paper. 12.3a is learning how to acknowledge sources using in-text citations. MLA requires you to cite your sources in two ways. You need to cite them within your sentences. This is called an in-text citation. It's also sometimes called a parenthetical citation because the citation happens in parentheses. And then you also need to cite your sources on the works cited page. Some people received zeros on writing Project 2 because they did not cite their sources. If you don't cite your sources, it is considered plagiarism, and I have to give you a 0 for the assignment. So make sure that you are properly citing your sources. When you refer to an author's ideas within your paper, you'll usually need to use what our book calls a signal phrase, which is a phrase that tells the reader who is saying what. You may also need to use a parenthetical citation that includes the author's name and or page numbers. There is a section in your book that will walk you through how to do in-text citations. You can also watch this video as well. In task 12.3b, you are going to work on acknowledging your sources in the works cited page. The last page of your paper should be labeled Works Cited. You should have a total of 3 to 5 citations listed, one for each of your sources. And those citations should be listed alphabetically based on the first word of the citation. You'll probably mostly be citing articles, And I have some information here that will walk you through how to cite those. Pay attention to whether something is in quotation marks or italicized, where the commas go, if things are capitalized or not. All of those little details can be easy to miss, but they do matter. There's a video here on citing database articles. So if you found any articles from like Academic Search Complete or any of the library's other databases, this video should help you with how to cite those. Task 12.4, you're going to be posting to the discussion board. You only have one post due this week. By Sunday at 11:59, you should post your draft of Writing Project 3. Try as hard as you can to post a complete draft. The more polished your draft can be, likely the better feedback you will receive on your peer review. If you submit a draft that isn't really finished, then your peers will be pretty limited on the kinds of feedback that they can give you. At the top of your post, I'd like you to make a few notes about what you're struggling with in your draft and what you'd like feedback on, and that'll give your peers a little bit of guidance when it comes to the peer review activity. And then finally, you are just going to submit the writing that you produced in response to task 12.1, which is your draft. So you'll be submitting your draft in two places. Sometimes people forget about that. You should be submitting your draft here, which goes kind of directly to me, but then you're also submitting your draft on the discussion board so that your peers can review it. That is all for this week. If you have any questions or want help with anything, just let me know.